here we have the primary hull section with the lights all laid down. These of course are the lights that come with the lighting kit. One thing I do want to point out here is if you're like me and someone who does not have a lot of experience lighting models, don't be too intimidated by this process, because it really is a pretty straightforward thing. The instructions are nicely laid out, so it really isn't that difficult to wire all this up. The way that these lights connect, again here, you might already be familiar with this, but they have these strips that you cut into different pieces and sections, and the wires are made so that you slide on these connections onto the strip, and that avoids the need for any soldering. So it works pretty well. The one thing you got to do is just make sure you keep your pluses and minuses oriented properly, because if you don't, and even if one is off, the whole thing just won't light up very well, or not at all. Kind of reminds me of the little Christmas lights that if a bulb was off, the whole thing wouldn't work, and you'd have to be trying to figure out which bulb it was that was the problem. But just carefully follow through the process, and it really isn't that bad. Towards the back here you see the lights that were provided for the impulse engines. I took some clear orange paint and painted them and tinted them this orange color, so they light up quite nicely there. One thing I wanted to point out also here is this cup that's provided with the kit that houses or accommodates that light for the sensor array. I painted it white, and as you can see, the light has been secured here with hot glue. Now the one thing I found out though is that when you turn on the lights, it's a pretty intense LED, so it didn't quite look right to me, and what I decided to do to offset some of that brightness is to add in a circular piece of styrene plastic that I cut out. It's basically a very thin piece of styrene. You can get this sort of stuff at any hobby shop, and it acts as a diffuser, so when you turn it on now you get this nice diffuse glow versus an intense glow from the natural, I should say from the LED without diffusing it. The other thing I wanted to point out is that as you can see, the interior here has been painted both with a black coat, and then I painted it with a silver coat. I painted it black just to prevent any sort of light leakage or light seeping through the hull, because these lights can be pretty intense. So I just made sure that I blocked it all off, and then of course the silver is added so that we can get more diffusion of light as well. You can see this is the top section of the primary hull, and there of course is the bridge right in the center here. It's all wired up and ready to go. So as you can see, I already have some of the decals already placed on the surface of the model, so things are moving along pretty well here, and we're getting close to finishing it, and I'm going to make one more video entry once the model is completed so I can show you what my results were. And so yeah, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you when I get it all pieced together.